Hello, everyone, and welcome to the class. My name is Audrey, and today we'll have an interesting reading lesson about child prodigies. Okay, so now is the time to join. I hope you can join and get the benefit of the whole lesson because we're going to be reading this article and, of course, discussing the article as well. So it's going to be a mixture of reading and conversation. I invite everybody to join, and I hope you will join us. A little bit more about the topic. Again, like I said, it's about child prodigies. Okay, and welcome, Jocelyn. How are you?
Hello everyone. My name is Jocelyn. I'm living in France.
Ah, excellent, excellent. Nice to see you today.
Me too.
Okay, perfect. And have you seen our topic? It's about child prodigies. What do you think? Do you know what a child prodigy is?
No, I have a prodigy child. It's a shame.
Sorry, can you say again?
I have read the topic about prodigy child, but I haven't prodigy child.
Oh, okay, I see, I see. But you do understand what it means to be a prodigy, right? So for everybody else who may be watching, a prodigy is somebody who has special talents or powers. So a child prodigy would be a child who has special abilities. So maybe they're extremely good at math or science or something like that, piano maybe. A lot of times we hear of these child prodigies, especially now, today, in like our social media age. So we're going to read about 10 different child prodigies around the world and kind of discuss what we think about them, if we know anybody who is a child prodigy, or what we think about this new or these modern child prodigies. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen for you all. Again, I welcome some more of you to come in, but if it's just Jocelyn and I, that's okay. Okay, so I hope you can access the article. I'll put it in the chat for everybody to access as well. And it's going to be on my screen. And Jocelyn, if you want to keep that up on your screen,
yes, sir.
You can just
I can see the screen.
I'll try to make this a little bit larger. I hope that's better. Article 10 Modern Child Prodigies. Okay, perfect, perfect. And we have Lucas joining us. How are you, Lucas? Excellent, welcome. And where are you from? Okay, perfect, perfect. So the topic here is child prodigies, modern child prodigies. Are you familiar with this term and with this phenomenon?
Sorry?
Sure. Have you heard of a prodigy, a child prodigy?
I was hearing you.
Okay, excellent. So I hope that you'll find this topic interesting, and we'll discuss a little bit more about prodigies. But we'll start with you, Jocelyn. Would you read for us the title and the next paragraph?
Yes. 10 modern child prodigies. Most of us aspire to reach excellence in our fields. Some of us reach the peak of our careers during adulthood, but some are so talented and skilled during childhood that they are comparable or even superior to adults. There have been many child prodigies throughout history. This list explores child prodigies in various fields in the modern world.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And as you're reading, I'm going to be listening carefully to your pronunciation. Just a correction for you, Jocelyn. Focus on pronouncing that H sound. So, for example, in this word, we have adulthood, adulthood.
Adulthood.
Okay, good. Just focus on that H sound. And then right here, we have the word history, history.
History. History.
Right, focus on that H sound. You want to have a vocal sound. It's not history, it's history.
History.
Okay, great. So this is again the beginning of our article, just kind of exposing us to what it means to be a child prodigy. And welcome, Dennis. Nice to see you in the class as well. Are you there, Dennis? You might need to unmute your microphone.
Yes, it was a good advice.
Very good.
Hello,
Well, welcome.
everyone. Hello, Audrey.
Nice to see you. Okay, so after we've completed our first paragraph, I just want to ask you, do you know of any child prodigies? Either somebody, it could be maybe you were a child prodigy, or you have children who are prodigies, or you've heard of some prodigies in the news. Would anybody like to share? Nobody knows of a child prodigy?
Well, there were...
Oh.
Wow.
Go ahead.
There are a lot of prodigies, especially in music and mathematics. It's quite not normal, but it's not so... It's quite common, I think, especially in music. So
Right.
in any famous musician, maybe every second famous musician is prodigy.
Yeah, and part of that is
If to
just
speak about classical music, especially.
right. And part of that is because they're so talented because they've practiced since childhood. So I think that's interesting, especially in music and dance and things like that. Okay, excellent. Let's
But
go
I,
ahead.
d-
Oh, go
I don't
ahead.
know. I don't know any prodigy in literature, for example.
Yeah, I don't know. Why do you think that is? That there are prodigies in music that you can think of, but maybe not in other areas?
Maybe just mathematics or physics.
Yeah, so let's see as we continue on with the lesson if we can figure out what other fields we have prodigies in. Also, welcome Sabri to the class.
Hi, how are you?
Great, nice to have you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and continue. And this is our first prodigy. We have 10 in the list. And I'll ask Lucas, so we'll scroll down here to read this paragraph about our first prodigy.
Okay. Michaela Fudelig. Michaela Irene Fudelig entered the University of the Philippines at 11 years old. She graduated summa cum laude in Bachelor of Science in Physics at age 16, and she was the valedictorian of her graduating class. She is currently a PhD student and professor at the same university, with interest in econophysics, mathematical modeling of behavior, systems, and biological systems.
Okay, excellent, excellent. You had a lot of difficult words there, but you did a great job in pronunciation. Just wanted to point out this word right here should be behavior, behavior.
Behavior.
Hmm.
Because here is behave and the next line veer. It's separate. Oh, sorry. Separated.
Mm-hmm,
Mhm.
right. Okay.
Okay.
And Audrey, how do you pronounce this Latin phrase?
Up here in the second line, we
Yeah.
pronounce it summa cum laude.
Uh, Last word, laddie, laddie,
Yeah, laude.
laddie.
Hmm. So I'm not sure if that's the correct Latin pronunciation, but that's the common way that in English we pronounce it, summa cum laude. Okay. Any other questions in this passage? Any words that you didn't understand or pronunciation questions before we talk about it? Okay, excellent. So we have this girl, Michaela, and I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but Lucas, you did a great job of pronouncing it anyway. But we have Michaela, and she entered the University of the Philippines at 11 years old. Now, there's a lot of controversy about children entering the university at such a young age. It's great that they can do the coursework and that they're smart enough and they have that ability, but there is some controversy about that. Does anybody have any opinions? Do you think it's good for children to enter university so young, or could it be a negative thing?
Uh, it's good and it's bad at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's very difficult to be at university if you 11 years old and if people around you 12 years old. It's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But what should you do if you're really a prodigy?
Right, right. And what do you think, Lucas?
Uh,
Maybe it. Okay.
no, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking maybe it would be better to build one special university from all prodigies all over the world, some kind of prodigy
Mm-hmm.
university.
I wonder if there is something like that. I've never heard of it before, but it seems like maybe there could be already a prodigy university. I like that.
I agree with Denis.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. And Lucas, what did you want to add?
Uh, I don't have anything to talk.
Okay.
Uh, okay.
Well, do
Uh,
you agree,
I
disagree?
I envy.
You envy her?
Yeah, I envy because I don't have special abilities.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I like to think that all of us have a special ability. We just either haven't found it yet or haven't taken advantage of it. So I'm sure, Lucas, you have a special ability.
Okay. Thank you.
Hmm. Okay, excellent. So that was our
And
first one.
also, Audrey,
Let's,
I have a question.
okay.
Have you ever met a language prodigy, maybe? You have to speak about English language. Person who, I don't know, managed to learn English just for 1 month, for example.
Yeah, I have met some students, not children, not child prodigies, but some students who have studied English for like 2 or 3 months who can just speak it fluently, and it's amazing. Um, a lot of that I think has to do with being in a country when you're in a country and you're surrounded by that, you're able to learn it really quickly. But even then, I think it's amazing to be able to
From
learn
zero.
something. Yeah, from zero.
It's very interesting.
Hmm. So I do think that children, and this is a widely accepted statement, that children are more apt to learn languages. So they should be the prodigies of languages anyway. But there are some people who just learn languages so quickly, and I think that's amazing.
And
Okay,
where is this person from?
sorry.
In which where is this person from? They
The
were.
person that I'm thinking of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
specifically is from Mexico.
Hmm.
So maybe they're doing something right there in Mexico. Okay, so let's go to number 9, and I'll ask Sabri, could you read this one for us?
Okay. Indians actually prodigies will become well know when he performed his folk juggling at just 7 years old. He wasn't a doctor at the time. He was considered a medical genius locally. The surgery was on the hands of an 8 years old burn victim, and accurate serrated the fingers. He entered medical university at age 12, and by age 17 he was working on the master's degrees is in applied geometries. Today he is working on finding a cure for cancer.
Okay, very good, very good. I have 2 corrections for you. The first one is when you see these words that have an ed at the end, most of the time we don't add an extra syllable. So you'll see this one right here. It says he was, and it should be considered. Considered.
Considered.
Great. And then the other one was, let me see, this one right here. It should be applied. Applied.
Applied.
Mm-hmm.
And chemistry?
Right. The following word should be chemistry. Chemistry.
Chemistry.
Mm-hmm. So even though there is that H there, we don't pronounce the H. It's chemistry.
Chemistry.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So I think that this one is especially interesting. And I've seen a
Yes.
TV program about this one. But before we talk about it, are there any questions you have about vocab or pronunciation?
No, I'm just not sure what he separated the fingers means.
Mm-hmm.
What,
And
what is?
I'm imagining that it says an 8-year-old burn victim. So I'm imagining that a burn victim might have their hand burnt so that they can't move their fingers apart, and you would have to separate them. Okay?
Yeah, but how?
Did you understand?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
how?
How? If
Oh, he
she's
did
7
it?
years old with so in hospital or
I guess.
with
Oh, yes.
with his own knife. I just
Yeah,
can't
I'm not
imagine
sure.
it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's somewhere in India, and it says he was considered a medical genius locally. So I'm assuming that he's not performing in a normal hospital because they wouldn't allow a 7-year-old who's never been a doctor or gone to school to do this operation. but that is an interesting question. And who would want to be the first patient by a 7-year-old? I would not want to be operated on by a 7-year-old.
Yes, yes. Me neither.
Hmm. But, sometimes there's a need and there aren't enough doctors to fulfill that need. So, we have to look at other options, and perhaps that's what happened here.
Hi.
And hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Great, welcome to the class.
Thank you very much.
Would you like to comment on this one?
Oh, perhaps. I was thinking that they may be really intelligent and they may be genius, but they're still children, and that is also an important aspect. I mean, they are really intelligent, but perhaps they still want to play, or they want to, I don't know, have toys or things like that. I guess I have read an article about this aspect. They may be really clever, but that doesn't mean they don't want to be children. And I also think it is an interesting aspect.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing to think about. If we're reading about this boy, Audrey, there's a good question as to, does he ever wish he was a normal kid? Does he ever go outside and play football and things like this, like a normal kid? So, yeah, great points. And tell me, can you pronounce your name for me?
Oh, sure. Josue, you don't have to be scared from by the accent. You don't have to read that accent. Okay. You should read, but Josue or Josue, it's still the same.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, very good. Any other comments on this young doctor? This is the first doctor that we've seen. And it's a less common child prodigy. So we a lot of times hear about children who are very skilled in music and math and science, but not always doctors. So I think that's interesting. Okay, let's go to the next one. We have Taylor Wilson. And
Audrey, especially in psychology, for example. Yeah, 10 years old psychologists.
That would be interesting to see, huh?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, Dennis, would you like to read this one about Taylor Wilson?
Taylor Ramon Wilson is the youngest person in the world to build a working fuser. Yeah, is it fuser?
Fuser.
A device designed to create nuclear fusion. He built the bomb at age 10 and the fuser at age 14. In May 2011, he won the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair for his radiation detector. In February 2013, he spoke at the TED 2013 conference about his ideas of self-contained underground nuclear fission reactors. He designed a compact nuclear reactor that he said would generate 50 megawatts of power and would need to be refueled only once every 30 years.
Okay, great pronunciation. Just one correction, a small correction. This right here should be international. Instead of national, it's international.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Everything else was great. And did you have any questions while you were reading that? Any other doubts about pronunciation or vocab?
No. I watched this video, by the way.
Oh yeah, the video about this person, Taylor Wilson.
Yeah. No, not about his conversation on TED.com.
Ah, very good. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about him.
Well, no, I'm not a physicist, so I'm not so good in physics, and I even don't understand what I understand just in general, but in details, I'm not sure that I have enough knowledge to speak about nuclear fusion reactors, something like this.
Well, that makes two of us there. But
So,
but when you
unfortunately,
saw
I'm not a
him,
prodigy.
yeah. But when you saw him talking, were you impressed by his knowledge and his presence?
Well, no, I can't say that I was impressed because it's very interesting, of course, but prodigy is not so unusual.
Mm-hmm.
We hear about them very often.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. The thing that concerns me here is in the first paragraph it says he built a bomb at age 10. Now, that's great, but that seems like it could be a little dangerous if he wasn't in the right atmosphere, you know.
Yeah, in your own home.
Right. So I hope that he was in a lab somewhere safe, building this bomb that was not going to accidentally detonate.
Yeah, built and explored. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in his backyard.
Right.
Nuclear bomb.
Hopefully not. Okay, any other
It's very dangerous.
mm-hmm.
In this case, it's very dangerous. Just in general, very dangerous because when children start building bomb or weapon, I'm not sure that that's good.
Right,
It's
right.
the big problem of science now because if to speak but just about technology, maybe it's so interesting, but it would be something behind technology,
Mm-hmm.
something about decision, and I'm not sure that children can decide well about usage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great point. So, and also, if you're a child, you most likely have not that much experience, so you're really just exploring. And with a bomb, when you have failures, that can be a real problem. Most of the time, if you're learning how to play piano or you're learning how to solve math problems, you can fail and nobody gets hurt and everything's okay. But with a bomb, it could be worse. Okay, great.
Maybe now is just what is our world about, because every devices we have is just a toy. Toys is for adults, but toys
Mm-hmm.
created by children.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, any other comments there?
No.
Then let's go next to number 7, Cameron Thompson. And Josue, would you like to read this one for us?
Yes.
Sure.
This is for not Jocelyn.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Is it me or?
Yes, you.
Okay, perfect. Cameron Thompson is a math prodigy from North Wales. When he was 4 years old, he corrected his teacher about her claim that 0 is the lowest number, saying she forgot negative numbers. He began studying his degree in mathematics at the Open University at age 11. and at the same age it passed to Z whatever, I can't really spell that, CGCE in math and advanced level math with flying colors, and was featured in BBC's The Growing Pain of Teenage Genius. He has difficulties in his studies because of his Asperger's syndrome, but undoubtedly Cameron is a mathematic genius. Okay.
Okay, excellent.
I'm not sure what it passed to what that word means. I guess that is an acronym, but
Yeah, the acronym, and I'm not exactly sure what that means either, but I just looked it up and it says General Certificate of Secondary Education.
oh, okay.
So
Something in UK, bro.
right, possibly. So some kind of similar to maybe a college certification.
Sounds like that.
Okay, so we have this genius in mathematics. Any other questions before we talk about this one?
Yes, what is Asperger's syndrome like disease?
Right, it's Asperger's syndrome. Has anybody heard of Asperger's?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, would you like to maybe tell us a little bit about what it is?
Me? Or
Sure.
or Joshua?
You can go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, it's quite similar to autism when children have a very low social skills but have very high intellectual skills.
Okay.
Right. So in Asperger's syndrome, they may have difficulty interacting with people and understanding relationships. But a lot of times, as you can see, these people with Asperger's or even autism, a lot of autistic children and people have special skills.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
Not even special skills, because autism is a very complicated disease and in some sense just not absolutely understandable, because they seem absolutely restricted, but it's not necessary that they have a lower intellectual level. It's absolutely not necessary.
Right.
It's a very big problem for last decade and now in general for this world, especially in US. It becomes a very big problem.
Right. And I always wonder what exactly it is that's made it more of a problem in recent years. That I don't know. That's another topic, but it's interesting.
It's a very complicated. Yeah, it's
right.
In some sense, it's even a philosophical question.
But yeah, we have this Cameron Thompson. I'm assuming he's in England or something like that. Oh yes, it says North Wales. And so yeah, he started out very, very intuitive when he was 4 years old, and another child who went to the university at age 11. Okay, so very interesting.
And I have a question about flying colors. What is it?
Yeah, that's an idiom that we use a lot of times. To pass something with flying colors means to pass something very well or very easily. So he didn't just barely pass it, but he passed it with flying colors. He exceeded what he needed to do.
So it's a kind of journalism, or it's a common expression?
It's an expression, so you'll see it in writing, but you'll also hear it in common conversation. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
So next we have number 6, Jacob Barnett. And Lucas, would you read this one for us?
Okay. Jacob Barnett is an American mathematician. When he was 2 years old, he was diagnosed with moderate severe autism. Doctors said that he might not be able to talk, read, become independent in basic daily activities. Jacob proved the doctors wrong. When he was able to recite the alphabet forwards and backwards, and 3 years old. At the same age, while visiting a planetarium, Jacob answered the present questions of why the moons of Mars are oddly shaped. She enrolled at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis at age 10. While working on his degrees, he asserted that he might one day disprove Einstein's theory of relativity. He is currently working on his PhD in quantum physics.
Okay, excellent, very good. Just some points for you is the silent E at the end of words. So we have this word right here. It should be severe, severe.
Here.
Okay, so you don't pronounce that E on the end. And then another word right here, it should be age, age.
Age.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. And okay, we have Jacob Barnett, who's an American mathematician, and we see here he was diagnosed with moderate to severe autism. So we talked about one of the children with Asperger's, and here we have a child with autism. Any questions there in the paragraph?
No.
Audrey, I have a question not about this paragraph, but in general.
Okay.
How should I say, for example, over the last 10 years, the amount of patients with autism increased in 3 times? Is it correct? I should use past simple or present perfect?
Over the last 10 years, well, you should probably use more correctly the present perfect. So has increased because it's still continuing to increase.
In 3 times.
And you would say threefold. Threefold has increased threefold, meaning 3 times. Or times 3.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And I'll write that just to remind you, has increased.
Okay, thank you. Because it's true. I have to speak about US, and I'm just thinking about
in the past 10 years.
Yes, 10 or 20 years.
Yeah, that's very interesting, really. And like you said before, a lot of times, as in this case, we kind of underestimate what people and children can do with autism or who have been diagnosed with autism, because to us it appears they can't do very much, but that's been proven wrong in a lot of circumstances. Okay, other comments or questions?
No.
Excellent. Let's go next to number 5. And Joshua, would you like to read this one?
Yes. Marsh Diane Bodiarcho was born in Hong Kong and is the youngest person to enroll at Hong Kong University at 9 years old. He finished his A-levels, maintaining as in advanced mathematics courses and B in statistics. He also again at GCS, which he took at the same time as his A-levels. He participated in the specially designed double degree programs, Bachelor of Science and in Mathematical Science and the Master of Philosophy in Mathematics, which he completed in 2011, 1 year earlier than the design curriculum. He is currently studying for a PhD in mathematics in the United States.
Okay, very good, very good. We just have 2 pronunciation corrections. The first one is this word here, philosophy.
Philosophy.
Great, philosophy. Okay, and the last one should be United, United States.
United.
Excellent, excellent. So we have this boy who was born in Hong Kong and who is now studying in the United States. We also have this acronym again, GCSE. So I'm wondering where exactly those certificates are given. Maybe because he's in Hong Kong and we were talking about maybe it was some British certificate. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's an international certificate. But another prodigy in math, and I think math, just math, not science. Okay, but again,
It's very interesting. Why math is not science? Because in Russian language is a science. We don't separate math and science. There is no such expression like math and science.
It's the same for both?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Math is indeed a science, but we tend to say math and science instead of just the sciences. So we do tend to separate it. Okay.
And I have a question about A-level, B-level designed curriculum. What is it?
Well, it says he finishes A-levels. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what it means by A-levels. It says maintaining A's in advanced math and a B in statistics, and that's talking about the grades that he received. But I'm not sure what it's referring to as A-levels. Maybe that's a kind of coursework or his first coursework that he needs to take. I'm not sure. Okay, any other questions or comments on this one?
No.
Okay, excellent.
So,
Let's go.
Audrey,
Go ahead, Dennis.
in American universities, it's you are a bachelor, yeah, and then you are whom?
Okay, after you finish your bachelor, you can get your master's degree.
Mm-hmm. Only 2?
So,
or
and then after master's, it's your PhD or your doctorate.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
so typically bachelor's is 4 years, and then a master's at least another 2 years, and then your doctorate or your PhD is at least another 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good questions there. Okay, we have number 4, and this one is for Joshua.
Okay. So, Priyanshi Somani is a mental calculator from India. She started mental calculation at the age of 6, and by age 11 she was the youngest participant at the Mental Calculation World Cup of 2010, which she won. She bested 36 other competitors from 16 countries. She won the first place by solving the square root of 10 six-digit numbers in a record-breaking 6 minutes 51 seconds. To top it off, she was the only participant to have 100% accuracy in addition, multiplication, and square roots in the history of the competition.
Okay, excellent. So we have this girl who is a mental calculator from India, something that I hadn't really heard much about. A couple of pronunciation corrections. Just this U sound. For example, you said calculation, and it should be calculation.
Okay, calculation.
Perfect. And the same way here, it should be accuracy. Accuracy.
Accuracy.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Any questions there while you were reading or while you were listening?
Audrey, I have a general question about PhD.
Okay.
You should write a special work, yeah, to achieve
Right.
PhD. And there is another, I don't know, a previous form, I don't know, how can I say, before your PhD? Something, if you also should write a special work, but it not for PhD, but some degree before PhD.
Not necessarily. The special work that you're referring to is called a thesis, right? Is this what you're talking about? Your thesis for your PhD?
Can you type it?
Sure.
Okay.
Your thesis.
No, yeah.
But a lot of times you have a thesis for all of your other degrees as well. So you might have to do a thesis for your bachelor's degree and a thesis for your master's degree. And then your large thesis is going to be your thesis for your PhD.
Mm-hmm. Because we have a maybe not a slightly, but different system in Russia.
Mm-hmm. And is it based on a thesis? You have to write thesis, or is it different?
Yes, but before you get your PhD is, I don't know, how can I translate it? It's kind of if to translate literary, it sounds like not a PhD, but a candidate in PhD, something like this, if to translate literary.
And I think that's true. I think there is like a PhD candidate that has to do some kind of work. I've never applied or tried to get my PhD, so I couldn't tell you specifically what they would have to do, but I do believe that there is that extra step in between to get your PhD.
And in average, people get their PhD after several years after university.
Mm-hmm. The typical amount is 4 more years after your bachelor's. So you have 4 years for your bachelor's, 2 years for your master's, and 2 years for your PhD. That's just the typical amount that we say, but a lot of people take more time than that.
Mm-hmm. And you should to stay at this university, yeah? work at this university?
You can, yeah. It's up to you.
And do you have a special word for this?
For staying and working?
Yeah. Because we have. That's why I'm asking.
I believe there is a special word. I can't.
But I guess that is the doctorate you do in your university. That's why you also work there. At least we have the same in Italy, and I think it is really the same thing you have in the US or UK. So usually people who are undertaking their doctorate, they also receive some money from the university because they research for things, and they do also something for the university. Perhaps they give classes to other students or something like that.
Right, and a lot of times we call them graduate students, and when they give classes like that, we call them GTAs, or graduate teaching students.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay, excellent. So,
not
so I
the
hope
same, but not completely the same, but yeah.
Yeah.
Could you type it, Audrey?
Sure,
please?
I will. And while I'm typing that, let's talk a little bit about this. I think this mental calculator is really interesting because I've never heard of the mental calculation World Cup. I think that would be an interesting event to watch.
Yes, it would be funny. I can't calculate 5 plus 10, but never mind. So.
Yes,
I have
and you
to
can
count
see
with my hands, like little child. So that would be fun. Oh well, funny. That would be interesting, but sort of.
And so I'm assuming that in this competition they don't get any pencils or paper; they just have to do it in their head, which is really interesting. And also, it says she was the only participant to have 100% accuracy, and that's people of any age. So she surpassed even the adults who took place in that competition in that case.
I have an interesting fact to tell everyone. There is I used to be interested in chess when I was younger. And there are a lot of chess championships and chess champions and things like that. And one is just 16. I guess now he's older, but he was 16, and he is one of the top player worldwide. That is because of his calculation. He's really good to calculate moves and to foresee them. But I think that when you are young, perhaps you can do calculation better. I don't know, because perhaps you have more energy. I don't know. That's interesting. But it never grew up. He just played chess, and he is now a chess champion. But although he's 25 or 26 now, he still has, for other things, baby mind, or boy mind, is quite childish. So that's also interesting. They grow up in two different ways.
Right. So maybe they don't go through the normal stages of life. They don't have this adolescent period and then coming to adulthood, because they've just been stuck in this one area. So that is interesting, and maybe a negative aspect to to these child prodigies, because it's possible that a lot of these child prodigies might have the same problems.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, and chess, by the way, it's a very good example. I used to play chess a little bit when I was a child, and now I have some friends, professional chess players, and it's a very hard, very, very hard game because they spend 12 hours per day
Wow.
for their training before their computer and prepare their analysis, and it's a really big deal. I can't imagine how they do it. It's really hard. It's really hard. It's for not professionals, and seems like a very very easy game sometimes. Yeah, chess. It's just, I don't know, pieces on the board, nothing special. It's really hard. And for children, yeah, you really don't have a childhood if you're a professional chess player.
Right, right. Yeah, and I think that's really interesting. You think that maybe it's not so much of a sport, so you don't have to practice it so much, but it's not really the case. Okay, let's read one more. Oh, there's actually some extra. That's okay. Let's read number 3, and this is the last one we'll have time for. But we finally have a musician prodigy. We haven't had one so far in the list. Lucas, would you like to read this for us?
Okay. A King Camera. He is a violinist prodigy in Berlin. He began playing the violin at the age of 2. He displayed a remarkable memory in the music he heard while still at the peers, and speaking unintelligible total gibberish. His instructor noted his natural ear for music, and began teaching the 2-year-old twice a week. He learned to play exceptionally quickly after only 6 months of training. He made his debut performance in December 2003 at the age of three, and at a Christmas concert.
Okay, excellent. So again, our first musician, and we'll just talk a little bit about him. Let me correct your pronunciation. You had this word here. It should be remarkable. Remarkable.
Remarkable.
And that would be something that you would be amazed at, something amazing. Okay, remarkable memory. So an amazing memory for the music. And another word here is unintelligible. Unintelligible.
Unintelligible.
Great. Speaking unintelligible toddler gibberish, and that just means sounds that you can't understand. So before he could even talk, he was having this memory for music. And the last correction was this one, debut. Debut.
Debut.
That T is silent. His debut performance.
Debut.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
And who is
really,
the first?
Go ahead, Dennis.
And who is the first?
Who is the first?
It's a kind of rating, I think. First one. This list is kind of rating.
Oh, yes, yes. The first one, let's scroll down to it. We have Ethan as number 2, who's also a musician. And let's see the first, Tanish. And let's see what he did. It looks like he's just incredibly smart, taking college and high school courses at 6 years old. The first one.
Great.
Okay, very interesting. So again, if you want to continue reading this, we didn't have time to read the last 3. But if you want to on your own, it's in the description on the bottom. But thank you all for joining the class. It was a pleasure to have you. Sorry, it's a
Thank you.
little dark
Thank
in
you.
here.
Bye bye.
Bye, teacher.
And I hope to see you